What's up everybody? In this video I'm going to compare the Samsung Galaxy A42 5G with the Oneplus Nord N10 5G. These are two lower priced 5G option phones that offer value and almost into a entry level of 5G. Let's go ahead and take a look. So the Galaxy A42 5G was released and launched in September of 2020, and the Nord N10 5G was also released and launched in 2020, but in October. But more importantly, the A42 5G here in early 2021 to mid 2021 has finally been available to buy unlocked, not just from Verizon here in the US. And the Nord N10 5G went really popular and went to prepaid for a low price and to Metro here in the US on the prepaid in January of 2021. So after launch is when these phones got popular. So the A42 5G from Samsung, overall size is 6.4 inches tall, 3 inches wide, 0.34 inches thick. N10 5G is 6.4 inches tall, 2.9 inches thick, wide, and 0.35 inches thick. So these devices are very similar in size. Average size phones here in 2021 with a 6.5 inch overall body of height. For the weight, the A42 5G is 6.8 ounces, Nord N10 5G is 6.7 ounces. For the build quality, they're going to be very similar. You got a glass front, plastic back, plastic frame. These aren't premium by any stretch of the imagination, but that's okay. At the price point of these phones, you cannot complain. And speaking of the price, the A42 5G can be had unlocked for around $400. The Nord N10 5G unlocked can be had for under $300, and you could get the N10 5G on prepaid for $50. So you can get these the Nord N10 5G for a way lower price than the A42 5G. For the display, the A42 has that Super AMOLED display, while the Nord N10 has the IPS LCD screen, but it has the added 90 Hz refresh rate. The A42 screen size is 6.6 inches versus the 6.5 inch on the Nord N10 5G. Screen to body ratio, A42 is 84%, right around the same as the Nord N10 5G. Now for the resolution of the screen, they differ a lot. You get a 720 HD display on the A42, and the Nord N10 5G has a 1080p Full HD display. When you break down the PPI, the pixels per inch density on these phones, the A42 has a dismal 266 PPI, so it's on the lower end, while the N10 has a very good PPI at 406, so anything in the 400s is really good in my book. So the overall better display and plus the refresh rate makes it the Nord N10 5G, but you get a bigger display on the A42, and overall Samsung makes pretty good displays. For the software, the A42 launched with Android 10 and is upgradable to Android 11 with Samsung UI on top. The Nord N10 launched with Android 10 with Oxygen OS on top. Both of these phones have their own feel to them. You have Samsung UI, which is very customizable. It feels really good because it's the same software found on $1,000 Samsungs, while the Nord N10 5G has a more close to stock Google type feel software to them with their own little features. So both of them are Android underneath, but they feel a little bit different and have their own special qualities. But don't get me wrong, all your major apps will work on both of these versions of Android and their software, such as YouTube. Your text messages are going to work the same, your WhatsApp, your Snapchat, your your music, your maps, all that stuff is going to work. Your gaming is going to work on both of these phone software. As for the chipset, you get a Snapdragon 750 on the A42. You got a Snapdragon 690 on the N10 5G. Both of these chipsets are not flagships, but they perform very, very well. They're very snappy. You shouldn't have any problem running all the apps with minimal lag and stuff like that, and minimal crashes. So both of these are right in the middle. For the internal storage, they're both very good at 128 gigs of internal storage. That's more than enough for most people. And also both of these offer a micro SD card slot, which adds even more value to the devices. The A42 at $400 and the N10 5G at $300 or $50 at Metro. So I think that's what every smartphone should offer, is for storage is 128 gigs. So it's good to see that trickle down to the lower end devices, or the lower priced devices, I should say. Now let's talk about the camera setup. You got 4 cameras on both of these devices. The A42 has a 48 megapixel main camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel macro, 5 megapixel depth. The N10 has a 64 megapixel main, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel depth, 2 megapixel macro. Both of these phones can record in 4K. All I gotta say is that both of the camera systems are pretty good, very, very respectable. You won't be disappointed really. But I would say the edge goes to the Samsung A42 5G, just because Samsung just does a great job with its cameras. It's very well known that Samsung makes very good camera sensors, so you'll be very happy with video and with pictures. Now for the selfie, the A42 has a 20 megapixel shooter versus the 16 megapixel shooter on the N10, and both record in 1080p, which you won't be disappointed by either of these. Another good thing is that both of these phones come with a headphone jack, so you can connect your mic, your headphones, and connect it to your car via aux cord to listen to music. So that's a nice little touch, that's especially at this price point. Both phones will work happily with your wireless devices. You got Bluetooth 5.0 on the A42, Bluetooth 5.1 on the N10 5G. Both versions of Bluetooth will happily connect to your wearables, your smartwatch, your smart band, your wireless headphones, and wireless speakers. Both of these phones are also equipped with NFC, and that's mostly used for payment systems such as Google Pay and Samsung Pay. Both of these phones use USB Type-C, which is found on lots of other devices like laptops and tablets. Now for the unlocking and security, they differ a little bit. They both have fingerprint readers, but the A42 on the Samsung, you get under the display fingerprint reader. The N10 has a rear-mounted fingerprint reader. Both of these will work just fine. The more contemporary, more newer, fresher feeling is going to be on the A42 with the under the display. But the rear-mounted fingerprint reader, a lot of people still like those because they're very reliable, and they fit really nicely when you put your hand on them. So, it all depends on your preference, but they're both very fast unlocking your device. Last but not least is the battery. The A42 packs a punch, 5,000 milliamp battery, which is huge. It's nice. That's what every smartphone with 5G should start with, is at least 5,000 milliamps. The N10 5G slacking a little bit with an average 4,300 milliamp battery, which will last you most of the day. But definitely the battery winner here is the A42. Both of these phones offer fast charging. The A42 has 15 watts. You got 30 watts on the N10 5G. So a nice battery setup for both of these for the most part, but the winner is the A42. So there's things to like about both of these devices. First off, I definitely have to stress price. The A42 at $400, you're only getting 4 gigs of RAM. I forgot to mention that The A42 comes with 4 gigs of RAM, while the Nord N10 comes with 6 gigs of RAM. At those prices of $400, 4 gigs of RAM is not a good deal. The Nord N10, if you could get that phone for under $300, and if you could get it for $50, 6 gigs of RAM is a really good deal. So that's one big difference between these devices. The A42 does have a bigger screen, but the screen is not as good quality as the Nord N10 5G. You're gonna get a newer version of Android on the Samsung, but the Nord N10 5G has a more close to stock Android feel, if that's something that you like, so it'll give it more of a pixel feel. The camera system is probably gonna be a little bit better on the A42 5G. The processor is a little bit better on the A42, but not by much. Both of these are really good with storage. They both got the headphone jack. They both got the micro SD card slot. They both got the NFC. One difference you might like is where how you unlock the device with the fingerprint reader. Either you like it under the display or in the rear. But one thing is clear is that the battery life on the A42 is superb, very, very nice. 5,000, I like seeing that. Overall, I think the better phone in value is the Nord N10 5G, and it does have things that are just better. Like, for example, the refresh rate is better. So unless you're really into Samsung and you like that under the display fingerprint reader, go with A42, but it's a little bit pricey because you can't find it on prepaid for anything lower than $400, even in unlocked. N10, you got options. You can get it for a really low price. Still offers a lot of value. It's still one of the best bang for your buck in a 5G phone here in 2021. On that note, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.